Welcome back to Red Seat Secrets, where we reveal the truth they don't want you to see. Senator Cory Booker just called out big agriculture's grip on American farmers and families. He exposed corruption and named names. If you care about your food, keep watching. Booker thanks the witnesses, then exposes the hypocrisy. After courts banned dicamba, the Trump-era EPA tried to bring it back. This herbicide already ruined millions of acres, yet it was reapproved, devastating small farmers and rural communities.
Mr. Chairman, as always, I'm grateful for the deference. I want to thank all the witnesses. Your testimony was very, I would say, frankly, invaluable. Mr. Latham, I'd like to start perhaps with a question for you. Despite 2 court orders in 2020 and 24 banning dicamba use because of its damage to neighboring farms, causing millions of acres of crop loss, the Trump EPA, headed by a former industry lobbyist, recently proposed to reauthorize the herbicide. What impact would it have on your rural community and the farmers that you serve if EPA again approves dicamba for over-the-top use?
Yeah, thank you very much for the question, Senator Booker. I frankly believe, we've seen enough issues that I think the technology is good and is needed because we need to be able to fight against weed resistance, but yet over-the-top causes so many issues that I don't think that it should be approved for over-the-top use.
That's great. And because if it was, what would happen to the communities if it was again approved for over-the-top use?
Unfortunately, we've seen volatilization, we've seen drift into other crops and vineyards and different things. So it's become an issue in rural areas.
So knowing what you just stated about how harmful it is and would be as a practical manner, if it's once again approved, would your seed company have any discretion in whether or not to sell dicamba-tolerant seeds?
Unfortunately, probably with the rebates, we would probably have to sell it to be able to make our rebates, unfortunately.
That seems stunning to me, that something that should not be used in this way, but just to stay competitive in the market, you would have to sell it. Does that strike you as indicative of free market capitalism?
It does not, and I don't like it either. I think we should be able to sell what our customers want and the best value for them.
Yeah.
Seed companies are forced to sell toxic seeds just to compete. That's not capitalism, it's corporate coercion. Booker calls it out. This isn't freedom, it's control. Senator Booker takes it up a notch, announcing a moratorium on big ag mergers and a look back at the last 2 decades. Prices are up, competition is gone, and innovation has stalled. Economists confirm mergers like Dow-DuPont and Bayer-Monsanto have created a monopoly. And it's farmers and consumers who pay the price. Want more truth? Hit subscribe and join Red Seat Secrets.
And it really strikes me as not just an assault on free market capitalism, but something almost akin to a authoritarian system where you're told what you have to do, what you have to plant, what chemicals you have to use. And that's something that is very un-American to me. Would you agree?
I agree.
Dr. Moss, I'm going to soon be introducing legislation to not only not only place a moratorium on any new big ag mergers, but also require the DOJ to do a look back at the biggest mergers over the last 20 years in the food and agricultural sectors to unwind any mergers that the DOJ finds caused material harm to competition or to farmers or to workers or consumers. Dr. Moss, do you think that this type of look back would be beneficial? And if it was conducted, do you expect that many of the previously approved mergers would be found to have caused material harm?
Booker reveals how farmers, once independent, are now trapped in contracts that strip away their freedom. It's like they're all controlled by the same hand. That's not competition, that's corporate feudalism. Now, those families are being crushed under the weight of corporate greed. Booker shares a powerful story about a farmer in Iowa whose family had been on that land for 5 generations. He still had the original deed from the 1800s, and now he's barely hanging on. Imagine that, 5 generations of hard work, and now corporate monopolies are erasing everything they built.
Thank you, Senator Booker, for that really good question. Yes, I think the value of retrospective studies for consummated mergers is really critical and invaluable. We in the economics community have agitated and urged and encouraged enforcers to spend more time doing look-backs. Of course, they're resource intensive, and I know there is a number of pieces of legislation that would fund those types of efforts. I think at the stage we are at in food and ag, with high levels of concentration and demonstrable evidence of high prices, and slower innovation, the look-backs would be really important. Ultimately, it's really up to the agencies to enforce a very strong structural presumption against highly concentrative mergers. Unfortunately, we're still not there. And in the Dow-DuPont and the Bayer-Monsanto mergers, those structural presumptions for high concentration did not get a lot of attention, and now we're paying the price for that.
I mean, we consumers are paying the price for it, but our farmers are paying a tremendous price as this concentration of these very powerful companies who now, frankly, thanks to Citizens United, pour millions and millions of dollars advocating for their mergers down here in Washington. But the real people being harmed are consumers, but frankly, are our farmers themselves. And that brings up my a final question, and I'm hoping, Noah, I really appreciated your testimony. But
Booker calls it what it is. This is un-American. It's a perversion of the free market. He promises that if we give farmers a fair chance to compete, they'll have 5 more generations of success. That's not just politics, that's patriotism. That's fighting for the soul of America's heartland.
Given the extreme consolidation within America's agricultural industry, do you have any flexibility to purchase seeds or fertilizers from firms other than the Big Four?
Thank you for the question, Mr. Booker. We have retail locations that serve the needs for the fertilizer. We don't have the on-farm storage to handle some of those products. It's unclear often who the wholesaler manufacturer is for that product, but you can tell when you go from retail to retail to retail and the price is the same, that we're coming from the same place.
Thank you. As the chairman knows, I spent a lot of time in Iowa and met a lot of farmers from across the political spectrum. This gentleman here moved me when he said 5 generations on his farm, and I still remember sitting with farmers who still had that original deed going back to the 1800s, and the pride of every generation being able to not just make a living, but raise their families and strengthen their communities and provide for American hunger and demand. And suddenly the economics that worked for 5 generations just barely add up. There's a nobility, sir, about what you do for America. You are great patriots, and I'm really hoping to work with and I know how much you care about American farmers, sir, so I'm really hoping we can find some bipartisan work to do together and keep people like Noah and his family at the center of our thought process, because we can do something. This is not inevitable. This is un-American. This is a perversion of the free market. If we give them a chance to compete, I promise you that family will have another 5 generations of success on their farm.
What we saw wasn't just a Senate speech, it was a call to action. Senator Booker exposed how Big Ag's greed is strangling our farmers and freedom, but if we stay united and informed, we can reclaim our food, land, and future. Subscribe, like, and share to help spread the truth.